In 1883, U.S. Army Cavalry 2nd Lieutenant Matthew Hazard, newly graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York, on the Hudson River, is assigned to isolated Fort Delivery on the Mexican border of the Arizona Territory in the early 1880s, where he meets First Lieutenant Teddy Mainwaring's wife Kitty, whom he later rescues from an Indian attack. Major General Alexander Quaint, James Gregory, arrives at Fort Delivery to conduct an official inquiry into illegal and prejudicial actions and activities resulting in abuse of persons and destruction and theft of properties perpetuated or authorized by elements of the fort's command. After the inquiry, General Quaint apologizes to the officers of Fort Delivery for the mock inquiry and proceeds to present his plan to capture Chershahua Apache chief War Eagle. When his efforts to capture Chershahua Apache chief War Eagle fail, he sends Lt. Hazard into northern Mexico to meet the Indian chief to convince him to surrender. After a long arduous trip south across the border in desolate deserts and buttes, canyons with dry ravines, and gulches, Lt. Hazard meets War Eagle and asks him to surrender and return with him on the promise that the Indians will be provided a safe haven at a reservation near their ancient tribal homeland in Arizona. En route back to the fort, they encounter a Major Miller, an officer who rose from the ranks, who was sent out to meet the surrendering Indian party and take them into custody as prisoners to be sent instead to exile in Florida. Lt. Hazard was ordered to report to the Secretary of War in Washington, D.C. At the office of the Secretary of War, Lt. Hazard was presented the Congressional Medal of Honor. Lt. Hazard took this opportunity to ask the Secretary of War to reverse their decision to send the Chershahua Apache Indians to Florida and instead implement the promises he made to the Indians that they will be sent to a reservation in Arizona. When the Secretary of War refused Lt. Hazard's request, the latter, in front of an assembly of press and family, makes a bold declaration about how the Indians have been betrayed by the United States Army and returned his Medal of Honor and gave his verbal resignation from the Army. General Quaint also took this occasion to hand in his resignation as a show of solidarity with the protest of Lt. Hazard. Gen. Quaint continued in trying to convince the Secretary of War to reverse their decision and allow Lt. Hazard to keep his word to War Eagle. Since the Secretary of War would not budge and instead called by telephone the President of the United States of America, Chester A. Arthur, to consult, Gen. Quaint took this opportunity to talk with the President to warn him that there would be trouble with the Indians if the decision of the War Department was not reversed. The President overruled the Secretary of War and ordered the release of the Indian prisoners. Lt. Hazard was promoted to captain and assigned as the new commanding officer of Fort Delivery. Captain Hazard and Kitty, the widow of Lt. Teddy Mainwaring, were married.